All right, Collin Austin.
Hi.
Pleasure to meet you.
Hey, good to see you again.
To see you again. So one of the great things about the CNT 3003, of course, is bringing in folks who've taken the class before, UF alum, who've gone on and done amazing entrepreneurial things. And Collin, we're fortunate enough to have him be, I think, not just a former class alum, UF alum, but someone who's really actively given back and helped us out. So it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thanks for coming. This is awesome.
I just love this place. So this is the actual shop.
This is the actual shop. So we moved here in 2007, August of 2007.
Okay.
Even though we started the company in 2004, we had a small location north of Gainesville for a couple years, and then we migrated here, which is just a little bit closer, a little bit better, a little bit bigger.
Could you maybe, I always like to start out with this question. You know, you were a student in ENT 3003, the principal's class everybody else has taken.
Yep.
When you came up with this, and you started this business, could you walk us from that moment to where you are now, the highlights and the stuff that you're willing to tell us?
Okay, so the highlights are, I guess I was in the class 2002, 2003. When is it mainly juniors, sophomores?
Yeah, kind of all over. But
I feel like I can't remember the exact year, but I graduated in May of 2004.
Okay.
So I went to Career Showcase in January of 2004, and that was the moment for me where I really realized that I'm not going to work for anybody.
Okay.
Because I was going to the, everybody's dressed up, and I was dressed up in my suit, had my resume, and I'm going up, and I'm shaking hands, handing my resume, thinking, oh my gosh, I am never going to work for you. And for me, that was kind of like this is not for me.
Yeah.
This is me, blue jeans and a t-shirt. So, so that was kind of one of those.
Inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was kind of one of those, light bulb moments, if you will.
Okay.
And I just saw this opportunity, so I seized it. And so we started the business in March of 2004, 2 months before graduating. I actually didn't even walk at graduation because I was already kind of
too busy
in my
selling.
business. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was good.
So, so I ran a newspaper when I was an undergrad.
Okay.
But in the same situation, like you graduated the same year you did. Did pretty well at it. But no one ever told me that I was the entrepreneur, so I went ahead and used that degree that I had gotten and went and worked in newspapers. What a horrible idea. If I realized what I had then, I'd still be doing it. So what's the difference between you and me? You realized what you had, kept doing it. I didn't. What do you think?
I mean, that's a difficult question. I never once set out to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
It was just, everything just kind of started happening.
Yeah, sure.
Especially after that career showcase, I just started paying more attention because once I realized that this wasn't going to be for me, I just kind of opened my eyes at what was happening around me. And I used to be that student that I lived on the west side of campus on 20th Avenue, and it's still, traffic hell. Can I say that? it was really bad. And I would go out and I would wait for that bus. Okay. And then that bus would drive by me with those words that said full bus across the top. And that was just the most frustrating thing that happened to me as a student. I couldn't even go to live lectures. And this is showing you my age, even though I don't feel old. I'm only 33. But we used to watch this class on Cox Cable.
Yes.
I used to set my VCR to watch this class. I would have to schedule it, and it would come on and record the class on Cox Cable.
You and the guys up at Stark, apparently.
Yeah.
In the state pen. They would get this on public access up there. Yeah.
So they'd watch it. Yeah. Free education for people out in the
They'd come out and they'd tell the old Professor Rossi, of course, that they changed his life. So you have that in common with them.
There you go. So but I just remember waiting for the bus, right? Just sitting there, and it would drive by with those words "full bus," and then I remember when I got to the point you had to have 60 credits to park at the commuter lot on campus, the one right there. Gail Limerand and Museum, that big lot. Yeah. 60 credits. As soon as I got to 60 credits, they bumped it to 90. As soon as I got to 90, they bumped it to 120. So now you had to be a graduate student to park on campus. I thought that was frustrating.
Yes.
And then, where the Wrights Union bookstore is right now, there used to be a parking lot that kind of dipped down, actually. It was a small parking lot. And I just started, they were building buildings on top of parking lots. That still happens today. Yeah. You look at, anytime there's a new building, the most recent one I can think of is Museum and 13th, where it's one of the dormitories right there.
Okay.
Right across from Beatty. They just built another building. There used to be a parking lot there. Mm-hmm. And then the University of Florida continues, 10 years ago they didn't have, 12 years ago, they didn't have scooter parking. I mean, they did, but it was like a sign. that was in the middle of a
Yes,
block,
okay.
and you had like just kind of like that, the hashed areas at the end of the parking
Yes.
spot.
Maybe 5 or 6, nothing like that.
And you
Yeah.
could park your scooter. There was $30 for the entire year.
All right.
Now it's $156. So
Okay.
it's just continuously gotten worse and worse. But then it was kind of seeing all of these things unfolding right before me,
Okay.
and being like, if I think as an entrepreneur, you realize there's a problem, and then you figure out a way to solve it.
That's exactly right.
And that's what I did. It was like,
Yeah.
man, this is a problem now. This problem's only going to get worse. What can I do to solve it? And this was the answer.
Is the problem still getting worse? I mean, where are you at now in terms of that opportunity? So like,
I
unmet need.
get
What do you think?
excited. Well, I'll tell you this. I get excited every time I hear the University of Florida just expanded scooter parking.
Okay.
And I got really excited when I saw the University of Florida make scooter parking. When they
Yes.
started making those actual slots, you're like, okay, this is my vision is becoming a reality now. And that was really, really cool to kind of see and see it unfold. But I think it's going to continue to get worse. I don't think it's going to get any better by
Okay.
any means.
It's just
So-
as we're setting up today, you hear the guys start complaining about parking. That's where you come
Right.
in and say, hey, got to get a scooter. It makes sense.
Exactly.
Gotta do it.
So just find the people who are constantly complaining about parking tickets and hit them up.
But no, yeah, that's just so, I just love that. Nobody else is doing that sort of thing too, at least that I've seen it. So you've really captured that. I think a lot of the media that the youth are paying attention to.
Oh, in terms of
By
Twitter
the
and
youth,
stuff?
I mean like 18-year-olds, college kids. But I think that's great.
Well, I think there's a huge opportunity for me to connect with my audience, which
Yeah.
is obviously students. They're very active. I know we joke around, talk about Snapchat
Sure.
and Twitter and Facebook. So, I mean, it definitely benefits me to engage my audience and talk to them on those platforms.
Yeah.
And most people know, it's funny because we get salespeople who will call here, the cold call at the shop.
Yeah, sure.
You're not getting, during the middle of the day, you're not getting me
No.
on the phone in a cold call. But if you send me a tweet
Yeah.
and was like, hey, Collin, I really like the way you do this, blah, blah, can I have 5 minutes of your time?
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably getting that tweet in about 5 minutes, responding and saying, sure,
Yeah.
let me know when we can set it up.
Yeah.
So it's just knowing your audience, I guess,
Exactly.
and them knowing you.
So we're here to talk about culture. So organizational culture. We had you come in last semester, of course, talk about growth because you are opening up the new location on
13th Street, it's 0.4 miles north of UF,
Okay.
right there. Really, really close. We're excited about it. A lot of stuff happening.
May of this year.
Fingers crossed.
Okay.
May of this year, as long as everything goes right. That's probably one of the frustrating things as an entrepreneur is I hate waiting on others. So we're waiting on
Yeah.
permits and we're waiting on all those kind of things.
Okay.
And I'm like let's go already.
Let's
Let's
go,
let's
baby.
get done and get moved.
Okay.
But as soon as
Yeah.
all of it's done, we'll be over there, and hopefully by the end of May.
Okay. Well, that was my chance to get to meet you. That's when you came and talked about growth, and,
Yeah.
and I learned more about what you do here at NS4L, and in terms of the culture. I mean, we'll take a look around the shop eventually at the end of this and see what you've got going on. But could you talk about the importance of organizational culture, what you've built here, and how that has helped you?
I
perform?
think culture is the lifeblood of any organization,
Yeah.
and it's always going to start with the CEO or the owner, or
Yeah.
I say the COE, the chief of everything. That's my title because I feel like CEO is a little too suit and tie for me.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
But yeah, I mean, it's the lifeblood of the organization, and it's going to come from everything from your attitude,
Yeah.
the way you look at things. But really, it started 12 years ago with my values,
that's right.
and then it comes from there as you start to hire on additional help and additional help. You want to find people that have the same values as you do, and then a few years later we actually took the time to spell those values out and write
Yes.
them out and make sure that the team knew what they were, along with a solid mission and a vision. And if we're all on the same page with that, then we know where we're going, and that establishes a healthy culture.
We had a panel at the Gator 100 on culture, so a lot of the questions are like that. At that panel, I asked them, I said, culture is one of these things that just kind of grows. Like it can either be like the mold on the chicken in the fridge, or it can be something that you actually control yourself. How did it start out for you? Did you realize when you first started the venture here that culture was going to be so important?
I didn't.
So did it grow on its own and it was like mold and then you had to fix it, or how did that emerge into something that was important to you?
That'd be a really good thing. I mean, we could even ask Mike because he's been with me since the beginning.
Okay.
But he, it's one of those things where I think the culture was established
Yeah.
when I was willing to go outside and do the heavy lifting and
Okay.
and get get in it. It's just, I guess it's just leadership, and seeing and leading by example and having people follow that lead. And again, like as you sit down to hire people, finding those people that have the same values. Because if you share values, then I think that culture is just gonna, really, really grow. And of course, we always talk about eliminating, the bad seed or the bad apple, whatever it is. Like finding out if there is a bad attitude or if there's somebody that's bringing down the organization.
That's right.
Once you remove that, oh my gosh, you just get like, it just blossoms again, right? So those are the things I guess you'd have to look out for.
Is culture, it's interesting. So culture, so we'll define culture as, the collection of norms, values, and assumptions that are within the organization, how you do business on a day-to-day. It sounds like that's a reflection of you. Let's say you're me, and you may not have the personality that you have. I may not even have the same values that you have. As an entrepreneur, maybe I'm really good at recognizing that I may be a micromanager, or maybe that I incentivize people to perform, which is detrimental to, say, ethics and morality or whatever. Can I fake it? Can I go in there and actually create a culture that's separate from me? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you can fake it.
Okay.
I think the most integral part of a healthy culture is caring. Now you might not have the same like attitude or hyped up on caffeine and like go full speed ahead.
Yeah.
Like you might not have that. You might not have the loud music and the bright colors and the graffiti walls and everything that like makes your culture, because you might be a little bit subdued in terms of personality and things. But as long as you have the right intent and you actually care about your people, then that's gonna breed a healthy culture. Because as long as these people know that I love them and I take a bullet for them and I do anything I can for them, then that's just gonna bleed into the customer service of them taking care of the customers. And as long as customers keep coming back, then that's also gonna help breed a healthy culture.
Okay. We talk about culture in terms of values, assumptions, and artifacts. Maybe, values, you mentioned values already. What are maybe 2 or 3 of the values that are important to you?
Okay, our number one core value is to create and recreate the ultimate customer experience.
Okay.
So we always refer to it as the UCE.
Okay.
So as long as we're on the same page of trying to deliver this, we have bean bags, coffee. When people come in, we have bell ringing ceremonies. We hide balloons inside the scooter seats. We go outside and take an elaborate picture with them. We try to make every customer feel like it's their birthday when they buy a scooter. Okay. Now, of course, that's good for several reasons, because they talk about the experience, and we want them to talk about that experience. But the biggest thing is letting them know that we care about them, their safety, their issue of getting to and from campus, that we're here for them, and easing parents. Because a lot of parents don't live in Gainesville, so having them feel rest assured that we're here for their son or daughter, that really, really, really helps. And I don't know. I just think I kind of lost track of the question.
So customer experience.
Oh, so
UCE.
so values.
Yeah.
That's my brain, by the way. I have to write my brain on the wall. You'll see in the whiteboards and stuff, because I get sporadic. So creating that ultimate customer experience. Yeah. That's our number one core value.
Okay.
Number 2, like stay calm, scoot on.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of these values are related. Sure. We kind of tweak them to our business. So stay calm and scoot on. Yeah. This can get intense. There can be times in August where we're selling 10 scooters at once. We got people picking up scooters from storage. We got service going on. This room has had 50 people in it all at one time, and that can be a very stressful situation. So stay calm, scoot on is, take a deep breath, relax. Yeah. We're a team. We'll pull together and get through it. Yeah. Core value number 3, don't believe the hype. So that's our way of saying stay humble. A customer should never be thanking us. Yeah. We should be thanking them. Yeah. So when a customer says, "Oh, thank you guys are the great." Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah. We appreciate the business. Thank you for giving us that opportunity to serve you. And so those, that's 3 of the core values, but we have 12 total. Yeah. And
and they're written down and
and they're everywhere around the shop. If you look around the shop, we have, we actually make them a point. So these are the hang tags for the bikes that have the statistics, and on them actually have the actual core values.
Okay, outstanding.
So, and you'll see them all around the store.
You were showing me the other location a few weeks ago, and I remember the student out there in the parking lot who there was a confusion at some point where she should pick up the scooter.
Right.
And it was automatic. There was not even second guessing it. You go over there and help her, and even bring her back here. That's just what you do. Right. You're always earning it. I love that.
Thank you. I mean, those are some of the challenges you face with growth, you
Yeah.
know, and we talked about growth, you know, last semester. I mean, people get confused. You know, we didn't know. We've never had 2 stores before, so we had a store here
sure.
and a store there. People, you know, they might have dropped their scooter off there, but because we had the equipment to service it here,
Yeah.
brought it over here, started doing the service, and then we fixed it and finished it. And we call them, hey, your scooter's done. Well, we've been saying, hey, your scooter's done for the last, you know, 8 years from this location. So they just show up to where they dropped it off from, and their scooter is here. And so there's been those communication things that we have to work through as a team, and we continue to do so.
Okay.
Core value 7 is to communicate clearly, so we can obviously work on it a little bit.
How many employees do you have now?
We are down. I'll say down because we're down to 24. 'Cause
Okay.
we just lost a couple. We have a couple students that are getting ready to graduate in May.
Okay.
So they're getting their last minute preparations in order.
Okay.
So we're down to 24, 25 right now.
Okay.
And I'd say about half are full time and half are part time.
Did that number change when you opened up the second location? Did you?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
We were at about 27.
Okay.
And we went to about 30.
Okay. Okay.
So it wasn't a whole lot.
How do you, so new people come in, how do you inculcate? How do you actually drill home culture into their heads when they come in as the new employee who've never not part of this?
Well, part of it's in our hiring process. So
Okay.
before I even sit down
Yeah.
to interview anybody, we actually have a questionnaire that's, I mean, you can automatically kind of gauge our culture through it,
Sure.
because like one of the questions is describe who you are, who you were, who you are, and where you're going in a
Yeah.
tweet. So it has to be 140 characters.
Okay.
So I mean, you have to be very, very brief.
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
You know, so questions like that help, and that allows me to see, or at least kind of gauge if they're a right fit, and if they
Okay.
are, then I interview them.
Okay.
Now, when I go to start that hiring process, one of the things that I do is I actually send a newsletter to our customers. So when you buy a scooter from here, you get put in our newsletter.
Okay.
So when we're hiring somebody, we send it out. Caroline, was that your case?
Yeah.
So Caroline actually started as a customer.
Okay.
And that happens all the time, because when we're looking for help, we send this out, and who better than
Yeah,
somebody
sure.
who's been on the other side of the counter,
Yeah, sure.
who's been through the bell ringing, the pictures, this, you know, all of it,
Yeah.
and knows what we expect as a dealership when we're serving a customer if they've already
Okay.
received it from the other side.
That's interesting. Is there a way? Do you know? Is it 100% of your say front office employees are former customers, or?
I would actually say a lot of our front of house
Yeah.
employees are.
Okay.
Now for other positions, that's not
Sure.
not the case, because
Sure.
I mean we have full-time web developers, you know, and
Yeah,
other
yeah.
positions where we've actually had to specifically hire for their skill.
Okay.
But even with that said, we're always going to hire for attitude first. But
Fair enough.
it's yeah, I mean it's one of the things that we do to really ensure that we're hiring the right people. But I think in any culture or any organization, taking your time to hire slow, fire fast is probably one of the most common, you know, entrepreneurial business.
That's hard to do.
It is very
though,
hard.
Firing.
It's very hard.
I've been in places, maybe you have too, where you think, this place really needs a good. I'm looking at Anthony over there. this place needs a good firing.
I mean, it's difficult, right? Especially like I can say, it's my least favorite thing to do
Yeah.
as a CEO of an organization. I exhaust every opportunity to give that person every chance, and I sit down. If they're underperforming, then I sit down with them and I let them know where they're underperforming, where they need to improve, and I lay out a timeline, and then we revisit it, you know, and you have to just exhaust every
Yes, okay.
opportunity, and then that way if you do have to let somebody go or fire somebody, they're expecting it.
What was your name?
If you could look back to the Collin 10 years ago, when you first started,
Yeah.
it's been a little longer than that maybe, and some of the things that guy was doing in terms of fostering, building, or even maybe implicitly, unexpectedly creating culture, and what you know now, what would you go back and tell that guy? Oh my God, you should be doing that, or instead you should be doing this, or. And what I'm trying to get at is what have you learned about building culture, but try to get a specific story out of you if I can.
I mean, the most important thing, like I said, is just putting your team members first.
Yeah, okay.
And that's become a core value.
Okay.
Like core value number 10 is to put your team members first. So that's the biggest thing when it comes to leadership.
Yeah.
It's just serve. Like, what can I do to help you? And the things that I was doing right back then was definitely doing the heavy lifting, definitely getting into it.
Okay.
definitely leading by example.
Yeah, yeah.
But in terms of things I could improve on, I mean, I can always improve. That's probably a better question for Mike, because I thought I was pretty good. But no, I mean, there was definitely times where I
Yeah.
questioned my leadership. I mean, when I split with my partner in 2006,
Sure.
and one of the things that I really, really remember was that we took a day to each come in and sit down and talk with the team and let them know what was happening, that the split was going to happen, and that we were giving them the option of who to go with.
Yeah.
And every single one of my team members chose my business partner, and that was the most gut-wrenching thing. And I've gotten a better idea over the years as to why that occurred, and it wasn't necessarily poor leadership as it was other circumstances, but
Sure.
but still, it really pushed me. It really motivated me, because I didn't know then what I do now, and I was like, man, like, I got to do better.
Right.
And I used it to fuel. And I think as an entrepreneur, you do that a lot. Like, when bad things happen, you use that as motivation to fuel, your progress as a leader.
That's a great point. We hear all the time, you learn more from failure than you ever do from the success. In
Absolutely.
fact, you don't even notice the success. The success happens, and it's just like, well, yeah, okay, that was supposed to happen. But when you have everybody walk out on you, now you've got maybe something to prove, and you work and you improve and you figure it out.
Which I really wanted to.
Yeah.
More so not my team at that point than it was my business partner.
Yes, okay.
It was like, man, I want to prove you that I can do this. So and that's kind of interesting, because that's made a complete full circle now, to where we were business partners. We did really well together. Ended up splitting, became competitors, and then now we're actually working together again.
Okay.
So in multiple ways. So it's kind of cool to kind of see that entire circle back around.
It's good. You said I'm at the gate of 100?
Yep.
All right, good. All right, that's good to hear. Most of our students are going to go on and graduate and not create their own companies. They're going to go work for somebody else.
Okay.
There's two questions I'd like to
shouldn't do
ask
that.
you about that. You shouldn't do that. No. Why are you
I'm
taking
just kidding.
entrepreneurship? Of course, you can be entrepreneurial in an existing company. Is there anything they can do to influence culture if they come in and a place isn't quite what they want it to be? Or would you rather just tell them, you know what, you can't do anything about it. You got to get out and go find somewhere else that does have a culture. How much give and take is there?
I think you just have to find opportunities
Yeah.
to lead, and the way you can do that is to serve and to put your other team members first. Carry a little portion of their load.
Okay.
If you can really find things to do, it's going to come back around, right? Because people are going to remember that. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, like, he always goes to bat for me, or he always helps me out when I'm in a bind. And when you have somebody on your team that like that, then that's going to breed healthy culture. And usually, even in small groups, I would even say on a large corporate structure, they're in the little departments or in the subgroups, micro groups. Like, if you can be that person, then you can really, really influence the culture of the organization.
Okay. Well, Collin, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Take a look around here in a little
absolutely.
bit. So I guess we'll be right back. Well, so welcome back, Collin. Welcome back, everybody else. Let's just take it away and see where we go. Yeah.
All right. So this is half of the showroom that we actually expanded into in 2010.
Okay.
Which is really cool. I always recommend that entrepreneurs, take baby steps when you can. Like, this was a big move for us when we opened up into this room, because for the longest time we had 1,750 square feet, and I actually convinced the landlord to just let me take the front half of this building.
Okay.
So it was a really small baby step, and then we ended up taking the back half in 2011. So if you can take those baby steps, that's something that I obviously recommend. But yeah, I mean, you can obviously see the different scooters that we have. We have several different models, but these are like the Vespas and stuff, for example. That's kind of like the Cadillac of the scooter world.
Okay.
You're very high end. Somebody who would get this for main transportation. These are more economical bikes right here, but really good scooters that come with 1-year parts and labor warranties.
So, Collin,
And,
can I ask you a question? So I'm going to always try to bring it back to culture. Cause
Yeah,
it's a
please.
topic.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a relationship between what you're selling, scooters, and then the culture you've built here? Would you have an accounting firm that felt like this?
I think you could. It's funny because I had somebody joke one time. It was like we're not gonna get our insurance policies and throw them on Facebook and be like, take a group picture with the insurance policy. I was like, yeah, but what if you did? Because nobody else is doing it. I mean, so
else.
can you? I think you can.
Okay.
But I think you just have to find those little, those little things that work for you.
Sure.
I understand that not every demographic is going to be college students.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely have a more college feel atmosphere.
Okay.
And I understand that, but
Yeah.
but you can still create culture with any business. And again, it's going to come back to just the values and caring for your people.
Yeah.
So
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And obviously you can see we have a lot of bright colors, and we keep everything really, really close. And like I said, you're going to see all of our hang tags with the core values on them. And that's just kind of, we want to obviously communicate those values to the customers as well.
Yeah.
So
how do you communicate it? So you got the tags. Are there other things that you do with the customer that core value too, or how much of it do they see?
I mean, they can see the core values, like we have sheets hanging around and that sort of thing. I think for them it's the actual experience, experiencing the values. So and the biggest is obviously core value number one was like creating and recreating that ultimate customer experience, because when we're selling a scooter, it's just above and beyond. So
Okay. Yeah.
hopefully that answers the question. But this room, like I said, was expanded in 2010. This right here is the original showroom. So as long as you come this way, for the longest time, from that wall right there, to that window right there was just one line of scooters.
How many do you have now?
So
on the floor here.
So in the showroom we have approximately 50 scooters.
Okay.
In this showroom and about 40 in the other.
Okay.
So it's
quite
a lot of inventory.
Back when it was just this wall, and you had a row here. I mean, this is amazing.
A row straight down here, and really it was a matter of the reason we expanded was because we'd have one scooter, for example, and I'd have a sign on the scooter that said this scooter is available in red, blue, black, green, and because we could only put a couple of each model in here. Yeah. And I believe that if we actually could display each model in each color, that our sales would go up. Okay. And that's why I made the decision to expand. And of course, when we did so, it helped. Yeah. So.
Okay.
But you always find different culture things. Like here's an example. So this is a Fracture. We got friends over at Fracture who made this for us. We were one of their first customers who actually did more of a split design where they took a bunch of Fractures and pieced it together. But you can see, like, we even put our core values. This is where a customer would see some of our values. We put them on here. We have the team sign it as well.
So it's one thing to have obviously values and culture, but you also have to always be showing. You have to always be talking about it.
Yep.
What are there times maybe where maybe you forget to talk about it? It's like there's a class blog in this class, for example, that for the first 2 weeks I was really gung-ho about, and then I was like, class blog, maybe not so much. So I've let it fall by the wayside. I mean, have you? Well,
consistency is definitely key.
Yes. Okay.
So, like, I mean, if you're gonna start something like that, and I can understand, because it's like you start something and maybe it doesn't get enough traction, and it's like, oh, maybe this isn't. But I mean, a lot of things, it's gonna take work, time, hard work and patience. You're gonna have to continuously develop it and push it. And that's it for us. When it comes to the experience, it's really about experiencing the culture. So for like this bell, for example. Like, did you buy a scooter? And when we do that, and when we have that going on, my favorite thing is like when she's on the telephone, right? She'll be on the telephone and we'll be ringing it, and I mean, I like that part. So
Nick's head almost at the ceiling back there. You didn't see that would come.
Well, when you have a room, this room can be, like I said, filled with 30, 40 people at some time, and when you have that many people in here and there's bells ringing and stuff, people are like, oh, what's going on?
So it's not just you. You've also got, like you said, 25 employees here at the other location, and I'm sure they have some buy-in. Have you ever had a situation where you come up with a value, or you come up with, I don't know, a slogan or a saying of how you communicate, and it doesn't stick? There isn't buy-in by the team, and you think, well, all right, we'll just forget about that for now.
No, not really. I mean, for us, it's, I don't know. We have the values, and if you can use those values to really hold people accountable, then, for me, that's kind of like, the values are kind of like the rules, right? It's like, even though it's not necessarily a rule, if you live up to the values, you're never going to make the wrong mistake. So, for example, it allows you to really empower your employees. So if somebody here makes a decision, or I'm not here, like I don't want them coming to me for every decision, because I want to focus on growing the organization. So if I can continuously do that, focus on that growth, and let them take care of the decision making, then I'm good, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
those values allow them to do that. If a customer comes in and says, you know, if they're having a problem with something, or there's something going on, hey Mike, can you guys close that door, please? Compressor, sorry, compressor's going off. We're running a business here. You know, if they make a decision based on those core values, they're not going to lose their job. You know, if they can say, Collin, the reason I made this decision was because of I was upholding this core value, and they make the decision based on that, then they're good.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to fire anybody for something that they did that lived up to one of our core values.
Okay.
And so it really empowers them to make decisions on their own.
Okay. Okay. Do you mind if we ask
Yeah, ask Caroline everything, please.
Caroline? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
So here's an
I'm just
actual employee, ladies and gentlemen. It's
Wow.
like we're in Nova or something on PBS. So
Collin.
the primary test was to see how nervous she gets when she gets on all this technology. But so you're a student at AMT 3003, right? This semester.
Yep.
How you like it?
Good, I like it.
Yeah, don't worry about that stuff. Just look at. So this is unlike any place. And I had the jobs in high school, you know, where you go to work, and the culture was we all hate our jobs.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that kind of experience?
In general,
Have you ever, like a job before this?
no, this is actually my first job.
Oh,
So
is it
I
really?
really don't have anything to compare it to.
You're totally
yeah.
spoiled. You're ruined for any other
Yeah.
job. You can only work here then for now. What do you think? I mean, are there the values that Collin's been talking about and the communication and all that stuff? Have you seen the impact of that in your day to day?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I first started working here, it wasn't super apparent.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I really worked here for a few months that I saw it, and the way kind of Collin does everything, and as a team, how, you know, we work day to day, then like the culture was really apparent.
The values that you have here, have you taken those and used them in your own life? Is the culture here so powerful it's even influencing you in your other roles? You know, like as a student or as
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in general, this job kind of gave me experience that I wasn't anticipating. So the culture kind of came along with that.
Okay.
But definitely, like as a student and kind of in everyday life, definitely the culture has impacted me. So.
When you go to work that next job, maybe it's here, right?
Yeah.
The intention is to do this for for as long as Collin does it. But are there things that are important to you that you'll take away from this for the rest of your life?
As far as culture, or
Yeah,
just
and what you think the workplace should be like. I mean, what are you going to look for that next place because of your experience here?
definitely in my next job, I would probably look for it just the way like the employees are treated here, you know, and like as a team, how everyone works together. Definitely kind of be looking for that environment that you can see yourself being happy in and getting along with everyone. You know, I think in a really corporate environment that might be a little difficult to find, but I'll be looking for something, you know, that kind of is a little more lax than, say, the regular like corporate structure.
Okay. Well, thank you, Caroline. I appreciate it.
Is
Remember,
that a bad thing, Caroline?
what's that?
What?
Having a more relaxed atmosphere, relaxed boss, laid back atmosphere.
I mean, I think it's to each their own. Personally, I like having a more relaxed environment, but, you know, some people might like more structure.
Yeah, he wears the ball cap and the sunglasses and t-shirts, but I don't think relaxed probably comes in. That's interesting. You say relaxed, but you're also this intense guy.
I'm intense when it comes to, you know, just the business, the grind. You know, like I'm constantly on the go. You know, I know that I was the only person that spent 7 hours working on Sunday. You know what I mean? And I think that's going to come with me and and what I do and what I love, because I don't consider this work. So I'm constantly working on it all the time. But am I relaxed? I mean, yeah, because I wear blue jeans, t-shirt, ball cap. You know, I guess we could be a little bit more stiff, if you will, and some of those things. But no, I think I'm definitely a very relaxed business owner. But I also think that comes into the atmosphere of the organization.
Well, it's a balance too between the intensity, I think, and I mean this is an active, engaging place. This is not like going and sitting at a computer terminal for 8 hours a day.
Right.
So you got to have relaxed maybe to offset the intensity.
Yeah. Well, I think
Is that-
yeah. I mean, maybe, but I think a lot of it just really has to do. Again, I might not be this way
Yeah.
if my clients were 50 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I was trying to sell something, if I was in a business where I was trying to sell something to 40, 50-year-old clients, then I might be a little bit more formal, might be a little bit different. But because, I mean, my customers are students, they're actually more comfortable coming in and speaking to a business owner that is relaxed like this versus somebody like, they might not want to, if say there was an issue, they might not want to address an issue with somebody who is very suit and tie and very stern looking, you know what I mean? So
I'm relaxed too, aren't I?
yeah, I think. Well, no, I'm not. Please don't take offense to that, Chris.
No, I do this for a different reason. I'm like Doogie Howser, and I don't have any credibility if I don't put it in the classroom like Tom. And Chris is like, yeah, that's right. Anthony knows it's true too. Will you tell people you work here?
Do I tell people?
When you tell, no, I know you tell people.
Yeah.
Of course you tell people.
Yeah.
Is it like so? We got it.
That's okay.
Oh yeah, business first.
Do you want me to answer the phone?
Yes, absolutely. Answer the phone.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for calling me Scooters for Less. This is Caroline. How can I help you? Collin is actually unavailable right now. Can I take a message?
Fantastic.
Yeah, let me grab my manager. You said this is Detective Jones? Okay, hold on just 1 second for me.
It's the police.
Hold on.
Actually, they want to borrow scooters for a motorcycle course that they're doing.
Oh,
to do
okay.
so they
Okay.
can rent scooters, and we don't let them rent them. Actually, we just let them use them for their class. But I'm sure that's what they're calling about.
Well, that might be a good time to.
Let's just
report Caroline.
we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. I just see the guest book. Maybe you talk to us about the guest book.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different opportunities in our environment for customers to interact with us. Obviously we have like the waiting area with, for us, bean bags are much more relaxed, and we've had to wake students up before.
Oh, really?
who have come in for an oil change or something, and then they fall asleep. But things like the guest book, and you'll see little things that say, leave us a note, like how are we doing,
Mhm.
buckets and stuff
Mhm.
like that around. I mean, we definitely want to do what we can to engage with our customers, and the guest book is definitely one of those ways where they can, tell us about themselves, write their name, and we like to use it for different contests. We'll send them free swag and different things like that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's just more engagement with our audience.
You like memes too. I'm a big meme
Of course.
user. Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, how do you write instructions for an exercise without a meme, Alejandro? How do you do it? So, okay.
But and then like things like this, we have entry boxes. This right here is how many scooters we sold. So we will often put a thing on here, usually at the end of the quarter, saying guess how many scooters we've sold so far this year. And
Okay.
this goes in every quarter. We have them guess, and then we send out prizes. So you'll see a lot of things like this in our environment, like the guest book and the bean bags, and just ways to engage.
You'd mentioned too that you have a monthly meeting. It's a culture meeting too, isn't it?
Correct.
Is that something you've always done? And
I think it's not something that we've always done.
Yeah.
It's something that we started doing maybe 3 years, probably 3 years ago or so. But I really wanted to create a way for our team to get involved and really make their voice heard.
Mhm.
There's a couple opportunities that they can do that in. One is the culture meetings, and two is something that we call Coffee with Collin, where once a month we'll come in early before work, and we'll
Okay.
just sit around in the bean bags and have coffee, and they can tell me talk to me about anything, whether it's business related or not. Usually it is business related things that's happening within the organization, and it's a time for them to provide me feedback.
okay.
But culture meetings is usually more customer focused. So it's like what can we do as a team to make
Okay.
that customer experience greater,
Okay.
and to provide more of those cultural elements in our environment. So
Okay. Is there an idea that's come out of those meetings that your customers would know about?
you know what, the one that has surprised me the most that I actually never thought would live on or live as long as it has is the balloon. So, somebody said, hey, I got this great idea. What we'll do is let's get helium tanks. Every time we sell a scooter, we'll fill up a balloon.
Yeah.
We'll have the entire team sign it, and we'll stick it inside, because all the scooters have a seat compartment, so you can tuck it down inside, tie it to the little handlebar on the back, or the little rack on the back, and then that way when they open up their scooter for the first time, the balloon will pop out and it'll be signed by the entire team, just our version of a thank you.
Yes.
And I actually thought it was a pretty terrible idea. I'm like, really? Like balloons? That's kind of cheesy. And for a lot of people, and sometimes it is cheesy, but still, I can tell you that if for some reason we run out of helium, we hear about it. People are like, oh my God, I didn't get a balloon. Like, I don't remember getting a balloon. It's like, oh, we're probably out of helium that day. So there's those little things that come out of those meetings that have really had quite an impact.
Okay. Because they buy the scooter from you and you deliver it to them.
We do.
You're not necessarily there when they show up, are they?
Well, customers have the ability. Hi, come on in. Here, I can help you. Customers have the ability to have it dropped off, or they can drive it right off the lot.
Okay.
So they can take it home if they want. But we understand that a lot of our customers are first-time scooter riders. The last thing we want to do is put that pressure on them to drive it off the lot and go home if they don't feel comfortable, or if they want to get more practice. And sometimes we deliver it free, let them drive around their apartment complex, get used to it before they jump on any major roads, and it's safer for them. And
that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had a motorcycle for about this long, and you take it out of the dealership and you turn it for the first time. You're not at the motorcycle safety course anymore. And do that wide turn, you almost hit the curb, and of course there's another car coming on. So I wish I had delivery so I could practice around the block. Oh, how close we got. Anyway, so take us on the tour. What else we got?
So right this way, we're starting to get into the fun zone. So
okay.
Here. So this is Allison. She's our office manager.
How you doing, Allison?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm Chris. Good to see you. Yeah. Don't be nervous by this.
Oh no, this isn't intimidating at all.
We sent out a newsletter a couple weeks ago, really surveying our customers, asking for feedback related to the move and some of the policies that we might be changing.
Okay.
And so one of the things that we're doing right now is we're sending each of the customers a thank you card plus a $5 gift card to Starbucks, just thanking them for their feedback and for taking the time to do that. So you've been working on this for how long now?
3 days. We're on
3 days.
day 3, and today's the last day. I'm on like the last 5.
So we're getting closer.
This isn't even. No, wait. There's another stack. Yes. So
Okay. That's great.
Well,
this is my job.
and I'm so glad that she's doing it and I'm not. I feel the writer's cramp, I can only imagine. But this is our office space, and we share it. So we have our general manager, and then we also have our office manager, Allison, and then we had a social media person in here. This is where I normally hang out. This is what I call my brain on the wall. So I'm a very, very visual person. I have to put things out. There's Post-its everywhere, and that's my organization right there.
It's not just your brain because we can see it.
Right.
So that's also sending a message. How aware are you when you write, for example, the why are we here up on the board, or you've got
I think
different
there's
goals and
constant reminders.
Yeah.
And
to you and others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, and we post again. You're asking me about core values and where they're at. I mean, I think it's more important for them to be in front of the team than it is for them to be in front of the customers.
Yeah.
So we have ask yourself, did I do my best to be happy? We have these, I don't know, just different reminders and I mean, you can find Bible verses and different things around as well. So.
Now, have you worked in other places before you came here?
Yes, actually, I have.
And all those places have values and mission statements and the why are we here, don't they? I mean,
Yes.
That's maybe not so unusual, but I get the impression that here you live it. I mean, it's actually part of what you are when you work in your scooters.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely can agree with that. I mean, I'm actually really trying hard to learn these right now, so they're my passwords on my my different things that I have to log into, so I can learn them and know the numbers.
Full time in January.
In January
was
when I started full time. So What was the question?
Well,
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
you know, I think having, you know, so
Core
often,
values,
and yeah, so often, you know, in a class or something, we'll write a mission statement as an assignment.
Yeah.
Or a company will have a mission statement because they think they have to write or a list of values, but it goes on the wall and nobody reads it. Here, it's actually part of the day-to-day. It's how
Yeah.
you live your life here.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting because at my last job, I felt like we had core values,
Mhm.
and they were great, and everyone knew them.
Mhm.
But here we call people out on them, which is
Totally.
fantastic. So like it's more living it. Like it's like the other day I saw somebody who wasn't wearing a helmet on their scooter who works here, and that's a safety concern, and that's something we're working on, and that's one of our core values. So I made sure to call out on it, and so it's nice to be able, like, the honesty that's there, and having this set of values to kind of make calls and decisions from, and having this, it's like speaking the same language basically. If that makes sense.
That's interesting. You call them out on the on things. That's
They call me out.
All the time. For him, it's core value number 3. Don't believe the hype. All the time.
Like, yeah, I think
All
it's
the time.
just that confidence, man. It's just the confidence. I'm like, yes, I crushed it. And they're
We're like,
"Is it-"
yes, you did. Now, core value 3.
You know, so this is an entrepreneurship course, and so often we focus on the entrepreneur, you know, whatever that means. Is it different here because, you know, Collin does so much of modeling and actually living the same values you guys do, you know, versus those other places we work where they don't? Is that the big difference, or is that a big piece of the difference?
That definitely helps. Like in calling people out on core values,
Yeah.
obviously it helps
Yeah,
too.
sure.
And like, it's very much this is okay, and
Okay.
it's very transparent, which is really nice.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
I also think sometimes what's even easier than the values is knowing where you're going. So
Yeah.
like for us, you know, we always joke about we say joke, but it's not a joke. Making Gainesville the scooter capital of the world.
Yeah.
You know, so we're constantly using that as, all right, is this getting us one step closer to that vision? And for me, you look back 10 years and you see where scooter culture has gone in Gainesville. It's getting there. So, and using that as your guiding light really helps.
Yeah. Okay. One of the kinds of artifacts that we'll talk about, and so there's a PowerPoint affiliated with this, and there's actually going to be a boring lecture on culture that I have
I'm
to
sorry,
get.
students.
One
I'm just kidding.
of the things we're going to talk about are artifacts and how you actually, you know, you show culture. You know, how you write it on the board, you talk about it. It's part of how you talk, and it's the stories you tell. There are also ceremonies as a type of artifact.
Okay.
What are kind of the ceremonies that you have so like the customer who gets the balloon and it comes out? That's a ceremony. You take the pictures, I think, with them too when they buy the scooters. The whole team gets together. What's a ceremony that you use with employees that helps reinforce values? On the spot.
Monday morning meeting.
I mean, I do. So like, I was gonna say beer car Friday, which is like,
That works too.
which I don't think every corporate culture would agree with, because we do. We have beer car Friday, so we have a beer car that was given to us by Anheuser-Busch, because we did a big deal with Anheuser-Busch several years ago, and they gave us a beer cart. So every Friday, well, not every Friday, but several Fridays of the year we hang out after work,
Okay.
have some drinks together, and it's just
Okay.
a time to relax and team build and talk.
Okay.
And it's a great time. And then, like she said, leadership. You know, we have our leadership meetings on Monday mornings. So every Monday at 8:30, I get together with the, I would say, like the core influencers in the organization,
Okay.
and you know, and just talk about where we're going, what's next, what's on the agenda.
Okay.
A new thing that I'm trying that I'm really excited about is an hour on Mondays and an hour on Wednesdays with all my full-timers, 10-minute meetings.
Yeah.
So I'm going through 10-minute meetings with everybody,
Okay.
just checking in on every single person. And that's really new, so I can't really comment on it yet. But
Okay.
I'd say the first day went really, really well, which was this past Monday. So I'm excited
Okay.
about that as well.
All right. Good.
But
Okay. Well,
Good.
what's next? Yeah.
cool, yeah. Don't get any of the top secret information.
So you mentioned the hiring process. How much of the culture do you try to expose, say, maybe not even new employees, but candidates to?
I mean,
see if they-
quite a bit. So one of the
Yeah.
things we even do, like, it serves two purposes. Like, one of the questions on the questionnaire I ask is, like, go to newscootersforless.com.
Yeah.
Tell me one thing that you would change. So when you go there, you're instantly saying, okay, the team is, like, the forefront.
Yes.
On our website, you'd see blocks of every team member, and there's Q&A with each team member of what's their favorite core values and everything. So you're automatically exposed to that, but also it provides me with good feedback as what they would change on the website. So it serves a dual purpose, but driving them to the website, letting them see that culture there. Also on our website at the bottom, we have our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, like everything links and is fed into the website. So you see that stuff, and that allows them to kind of get in there and check that stuff out as well. Obviously the pictures with the customers. If we have, for example, if we're hiring ad on Craigslist, for example, then we put those pictures of us with customers and that's so they can kind of see. Now, I don't want to say that that's always a good thing, because some people look at that and they're like, oh, this is just a really cool, fun place to work, which it is. But we also have a job to do, and we also take that job very seriously. And it, like you said, it can be very intense at times.
Yeah. It's interesting. You do. You put your team's pictures and are there even blog descriptions of team members? And
there's descriptions on each page written by me on how I met that person, how they became part of this family.
I mean, that's something that's unusual. People usually don't put their team out there one by one and highlight. What role does that play, and how'd you come up with that idea?
The team makes this place.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times where they're the ones here running it, and I'm off, doing other things. And usually always business related things, but there's a lot of times where I'm not here, and so like they're the faces that the customers see. So I want customers to see their faces on the website and know who it is that they're communicating with. You can go there, you can click each person, read a Q&A, you can see what their job position is, how they serve on the team, and it just helps build those relationships with our customers.
Okay. Well, so where are we at right now?
So this is what I call the fun zone. Back here, this is more of our walk-in space, and so what we mean by that is when a customer comes in for a very brief service, so an oil change, a gear oil service, something that's super minor that they can wait on the bean bags. This is the area that we're doing it in, and it also houses a lot of our accessories. So we have a lot of our swag, a lot of those types of things right here. A lot of our oils and tires and basic parts right here. It's also where our parts manager. This is Dante. He's our parts manager.
How you doing, Dante? Good to meet you
I
again.
call him Ninja.
Nice to meet you.
Can you tell them why I call you Ninja?
So once upon a time, I was on American Ninja Warrior and did okay enough to like have my run on TV and stuff. So since then,
Really?
How many scooter
This guy's
dealerships
calling
have
Ninja.
their own Ninja? I mean, really. So I know, like, he doesn't really share the story, but I like it, and so I'm like,
good.
I mean,
yeah,
Is that on
there's some
YouTube?
history. Probably somewhere.
Okay. So I'll be finding that.
Yeah,
We'll link
definitely
it
the
up.
audition videos.
Yeah.
but he's our parts manager, so doing a lot of a lot of administrative stuff. So invoicing all the service stuff.
Okay.
Finding the parts, filing warranty claims with the distributors. He's a very busy guy.
Okay.
Very.
Well, Dante, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Oh, sure.
So we're talking about culture today, values, and you've got the core values and the artifacts and how that's shown. But, so this part of the job seems like it's very straightforward. Scooter comes in, needs to be fixed. Values and culture don't really play much role there, but I imagine it probably does.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's still plenty of times when I'm interacting with customers.
Sure.
So I'm absolutely trying to pull the values when I'm talking to customers, that kind of thing. And we are big on that kind of stuff. So that like the ultimate customer experience, for instance, doesn't just stop with people up front.
Yeah.
It's me. It's Justin, our service writer. When anytime we're talking to customers, trying to get their scooters back to them as fast as we can, and that kind of thing. So I think it really does come across in all aspects.
Okay. How for to mind? I mean, how conscious are you of, say, ultimate customer experience when you're ordering inventory or when you're doing?
Well, I mean, I guess that's a good question. When I'm sitting at the computer ordering parts, I'm not necessarily thinking about how the customer is going to feel about them, but at the same time, I try to be conscious of what they're going to want and how I can meet those needs. And sometimes that's performance parts. Sometimes that's just getting them something simple that they want right away. Getting that tire put on right then when they need it. That kind of thing.
I'll say sometimes I feel like it's a lot with the little things too. So somebody will come in and their scooter, their license plate will be hanging down. Now there's a lot of places that'll say, that's not my job, we're not getting paid for that. we're here to fix this. We're here to fix the front blinker, you know. But if we see a license plate hanging down, we're gonna fix it for them, or we're gonna straighten it up, put it on there. And sometimes it's just those little things, you know, that can make a big difference. So just kind of paying attention, I think. Really.
And that comes from values, doesn't it? I mean,
it does.
This is not your first job, I imagine. There are places like, you know, have shops like this. How important are these values to, you know, into how you do the job, but also coming in tomorrow and feeling good about it?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a hard one for me to answer, I guess. I try to, I guess in its simplest form, even when things get rough, I try to just come in every day with a fresh start and with those values in mind, you know, with those in mind. That's all I can do.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. No problem.
Thanks, Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, we'll be looking that up. So,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, should think.
So and then we go this way.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. So I'd say on this side, this is where we do more of our pager work. This is where there's a lot of lifts over here. Put that down. Just for a second, please. Thanks, Sean. So this is Sean over here, and this is John. This is Mike, our general manager. He's playing mechanic for some reason. And this is where we do most of our like heavy duty repairs. So you can see like they're doing complete engine stuff here on a Vespa. Got a really
Is the music?
Yep. Music good. Hey Mike, can we turn that music down a little bit? Thanks, man. Appreciate it. But this is where we stock a lot of our inventory in terms of parts inventory. So we have all the parts up high. Each technician has their own lift and has their own workspace, so they take care of that workspace and keep it clean. And this is where the fun happens.
And this is about to get a lot more fun at the new place.
It's gonna be. I'm excited about because it's gonna be very open. The new space is a lot larger, so it's gonna be just very open feeling, which I'm excited about. The other unique aspect, which we haven't had before, is that customers will have the ability to watch the repairs being done, which is going to be unique. We've never had that. It'll put a little bit of extra pressure maybe on that on. But you know, I think it's important because customers want to see the quality of work that we do. They want to see how organized we are. It's going to help hold us accountable to our core value, which is we have one that's sock it to me, and it just SOC just stands for safe, organized, and clean. So it'll help hold us accountable to those principles. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get over there. It'll be good for the work environment for sure. So,
so Michael,
Whatever.
Michael. Well, no, it's your name. I mean,
My name is Michael.
You're Michael.
But I'm Mike here, so.
Well, so Collin was telling me, you mind if
No, go right ahead.
you contributed to a core value here.
I did. That would be core value 12. That's, if you're late, bring breakfast.
So, could you mind just very quick telling us?
Yeah, actually, I had a couple times I think that I was late in a row, and one time I was just like, man, I had missed a service training is what it was, and I went to McDonald's, I believe, and spent about $45 on breakfast for the entire team, and passed it out, and I said, this has got to be the last time I'm late because I can't afford to keep doing this. So that's how core value 12 started.
Okay. And that's, I think that shows, you know, the importance of having values that are around for a while, but also some flexibility and maybe adding new ones. And
absolutely. I mean, I think it was important because we had talked about tardiness and how to remedy that without, you know, you don't want to send somebody home because then it kind of leaves the customers hanging and it leaves the other team hanging. So it's like, how can we come up with something that's strong enough factor to not want to be late, but that's light enough that, you know, you still have somebody that can participate and work that day. And I think that was a really good solution.
Yeah. Oh, well done for contributing to that. So.
They messed up my breakfast that day.
I got
breakfast for everybody, and everyone's was perfect except for mine.
$45 to get a lot of hash browns.
It was a lot of hash browns.
I think it's a fun. Sure. I think it's obviously like the fun core value that kind of got added and tacked on to the rest of them. But it gets taken pretty seriously. I mean, if you're late and you don't bring breakfast, you're getting sent back out to go buy breakfast.
Well, you know, it sends that message that everybody, the team's here to support each other too, right? And that can so often be lost, I think, in and the places where I work. We got a nice team except for Anthony back here. But there is that feeling that you all support each other, and that when you got something to do, we all get out and go do it. So it's nice to reinforce that.
So this is our outdoor space.
Okay.
We actually expanded back here, and we actually laid out more concrete and put this fence up because our service department just continuously grew. And each technician has their own line. This is everything that they're working on. The only reason there's usually stuff out here is because we're waiting on parts to get here, that sort of thing. But this gave us a lot of flexibility, and that's why we're actually surveying the customers, because this is something that we're not going to have when we move. So we're sacrificing this extra space for the location to benefit our customers, because the location is obviously key right there on 13th Street.
Well, this is you. When I had come out here last time, you talked to me about how during the summer when the students go, that's one of the things that you offer them is a place to store their scooters for the summer, and you'll even maintenance it.
Correct, yeah, but we don't store them outside. So this is so this is actually just our service area.
Okay.
But for summer storage, it's a service that we offer. Okay. I actually never once thought I'd run a scooter hotel. But then it was interesting because as the business grows, I had parents saying, okay, so what does my son or daughter do when they go home for the summer? And I was like,
hop on 75 and just drive it down, right?
Store them with us, of course. So out of thin air, like this whole new thing started, and we started storing them, and we'll get, we just have additional warehouse space. We do a complete prep, so we're prepping, the batteries, the fuel, everything, and we're keeping them indoors for the entire summer. So it's just, and for us, it's better too, because I'd rather do that and know that that customer scooter is being taken care of, has been stored properly, as opposed to sitting outside for 3 months while they're gone for the summer, being susceptible to theft and weathering conditions.
Gas goes
and stuff
bad,
like that.
and they come back and it doesn't work, and they think it's maybe your scooter or something.
Exactly.
Smart. Is that an example maybe where values have led to the additional a new revenue driver? The ultimate customer experience.
Well, I think
came first.
I think values are always going to lead to additional revenue drivers because of your relationship with your customers.
Yeah, okay.
So, it's what she's doing right now in terms of surveying customers and asking for feedback. What's great is that most of those people said, yes, you can contact me for additional feedback. And we're going to. We're separating those ones out from the ones that said no, and really going after, just trying to find out what it is that they want. The best thing you can do culturally and just for your business in general is to find out what your customers want, what it is that they need. And when the customer said, hey, we need a place to store our scooter for summer, we came up with a solution. We provided that that opportunity for them to store it. So just things like that.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So all this goes away at the new location.
All this will go away at the new location. So there's a couple different things that we're considering doing. But one of the biggest might be just limiting the capacity as to what comes in, and maybe having a backlog. To be honest with you, at this point, we still don't know. I'm still looking for feedback. So if you have any, feel free to hit me up and let me know, because it's definitely going to be one of the bigger challenges when we move.
Okay. Well, let me ask you one last one.
Please.
And thank you for hanging in there
Absolutely.
with us this long, and for these guys.
This is great. This is fun.
And Anthony over there with his arms.
Getting his workout on the arms.
Seriously, I could not.
I could take over. I could just hold it over our heads like this. Yes. I don't mind.
You're not the only guys in town selling scooters.
Right.
There are other guys doing that. But you might be the only guy in town with a team like this, and the values and the constant reiteration of the values. One of the things we're going to teach is that this is a resource that can help you set yourself apart as an entrepreneur. And it's one of the coolest resources, because unlike money, which is a resource, the more you use it, the more you have of it. So just what's the final takeaway? I mean, an entrepreneur creates the venture. They think of products and services. They think of maybe solving a customer's need. Almost what never comes to mind is the environment, or the values and the culture from day one.
Right.
Should it be?
It should be your priority.
Yeah.
It should, and especially when you go to doubling your business, and I mean that by hiring your first employee. When you go from 1 you to 2, I mean that's that's the first step. That's a huge step. So finding those values in that person, and then really being willing to let that stuff evolve over time. You know, and you still hold the core. You still hold those core values. That's why they're called core values. You still have that. You still have your mission. We know our mission is to help students get to and from class at their convenience without having to wait for the bus or to deal with, you know, parking. You know, we know that. We know that we want to make Gainesville the scooter capital of the world. We know those things. That's the core of it. But then being able to, you know, to really invest into the team as you grow, as you do get more revenue. For example, one of the things that we're doing that's brand new this year that I don't even know of any other college businesses that do this, but we're offering our part-time college students paid time off. Okay. So they can earn paid time off and cash it out and use it. Profit sharing. So if you're a college student, you can actually come work here, have a college job, and based off the performance of the business, you will actually get a cut of the profit at the end of the year. Okay. And those are things that we're offering to part-time college students that's kind of unheard of, that really allows us to get, one, we believe that the environment and stuff already helps us get the buy-in, but when you add that on top of it, it's like, okay, this organization really cares about its people, and that's what I want them to know. And as long as they do, like, I always joke, I would say, if I want people who are working elsewhere, not even at other scooter shops, but at other college businesses or other businesses, saying, man, I wish I could work for that place. And when I've created that, then I think I'm good. So, and that's the one thing that kind of just keeps me motivated to keep improving, and we're always going to keep improving. Okay. So.
Well, Collin Austin, New Scooters for Less.
Yeah, questions.
Oh, a question from the audience. Oh, I made it.
This is awesome.
So Alejandro. The two audience, yeah, right. So, is there something you wish you had been taught before starting your own business? Is there something you wish, like, you learned before?
When it comes to entrepreneurship, the number one thing, and it's not necessarily skill related or values related, it's actually, I mean, in terms of like leadership ability, it's not like, oh, let me go learn all these leadership skills. Let me go learn, you know. The thing that I wish I would have learned were the actual physical parts of starting a business. Like going to the city and applying for a license and how, like for us specifically, like how to get a dealer's license. You know, we had to get a dealer's license. I had to go take dealer classes and these different things in order to be a motor vehicle dealer. And then really the one thing that was QuickBooks. I mean, finding those programs to help you manage your money and see how well you're doing from a number standpoint early on, I really wish I would have had that. To be honest with you, for 6 months, you know, I started the business. I'm like using Excel spreadsheets and stuff for 6 months and like trying to track. I'm like, there's got to be an easier way. And then finally, somebody tells me about QuickBooks, and I'm like, what? I can know what my profit and loss is on a daily basis. Well, I can know like my balance sheet. I can like click report and see it. And those are things that I didn't even know existed when I was trying to get my business off the ground. And to go back and put 6 months of data into it took a lot of time. So if I would have just started it from day one, that would have helped a lot. So of course, and I've started other businesses and I've closed other businesses. But when I start a new company, QuickBooks day one. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions from our audience?
All right.
Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for checking us out and seeing us on the spot. It was a lot of fun. And of course, if there's anything I can do to help any students, I do a lot of mentorship. You know, I have a lot of people who are starting businesses. I always tell them, please reach out to me. Please let me help you in any way that I can. I'm happy to do so. And good luck to everybody. Yeah, and also. Oh
yeah, that's right.
Also, follow me on Snapchat. If you want to see behind the scenes of today, Snapchat. NS4L Collin is the Snap code name. But there you go. And thanks, man.
Yeah, so thank you, Collin, and then Chris, Anthony, David,
the
Jonathan,
whole crew,
the whole team. Nick Mills is here, and then Alejandro. So thanks for hanging in there with us, and we'll check you on Thursday.
This is the easy part. I just do what I'm told.
To certain spots.
The director.
You know, and then talk.
You want spots.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
It's a little tight, but
We don't need to.
You guys think that equipment's better than my iPhone? Or Snapchat? So Chris, have you gotten on Snapchat yet?
No, I need to upgrade my phone.
That's the excuse?
I got Windows 7.